Welcome to the Simply Incredible podcast. I am Daryl, a.k.a. The D, and back again is Troy Champney.
Hello.
And I just see if you're paying attention, Josh Presnell.
1738.
And tonight we are talking about part 2 of the X-Men movies. And Josh, where would you like to start?
Let's kick it off right after the last one ended. They semi-rebooted the story with X-Men First Class. Last Stand it was filmed in 2006. First Class was put out in 2011, so there was a little gap in between. But
it was worth the wait.
It was. It definitely
very
was.
much so.
Yeah, it definitely was. New director. We got Matt Vaughn, who's got Kick-Ass under his belt. He's First Class. He was the writer on Days of Future Past. He did Kingsman, which just came out not too long ago.
Which I love that.
Yeah,
too.
I thought it was a great
A lot
movie.
of excellent movies under his belt. So, I thought this one was a massive improvement over the first trilogy. I like to just disregard that first trilogy. We'll just
Wrong. It was
start
great.
we'll just start with First Class.
But hey, do you remember what the talk was before? Everybody was talking about this like, oh, First Class, this is going to be horrible. It's, and you started reading all on the forums and stuff, and you're like, oh, man, everybody is just flaming this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in with my expectations so low, and I went into this movie, and it was by far my favorite that they had done to that point.
Yeah,
was just like,
I agree.
I did the exact same thing. I dropped my expectations way lower. I almost kind of started looking at it like, you got your Uncanny X-Men, but then you got all these ultimate versions, all these alternate universes.
Totally.
So I just took it as, it's just another alternate universe. It's not the Uncanny that we know, but, just enjoy it for the story that
Just
they give
enjoy
in.
it.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed this one much more.
I did too. In fact, when this thing came out, and that worked for me so well to have like low expectations, I started doing that with everything I ever go in. I stopped trying to get excited about these things, because when you get that excited, man, it's hard to live up to that hype. But when I went in with that kind of low expectations, I was like, man, yeah, that worked.
I tried to do it with
unreal.
I try to do it with everything else, but X-Men and Spider-Man, I can't drop my expectations with those. Like when Amazing Spider-Man came out, I hated everything about that too. But Andrew Garfield, he really won me over. He was a cool Peter Parker.
But you know what? Same thing on that. I went in there thinking that, man, I didn't like what I was hearing about it, so I thought it was going to be, a stink anyway.
That's how I thought we were going to that movie. I was not excited at all.
For Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not the least bit excited. I come out very surprised.
Hey, I'll tell you the biggest surprises on those films, the two leads. Because if you'd have asked me, hey, what do you think about, Michael Fassbender, I'd be like, who?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And then, McAvoy, you're like, dude,
He came out of that one movie with Angelina Jolie. Was it
Wanted.
Wanted? That
Which
was pretty cool.
Which I loved.
That was, yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
True story, you cannot curve a bullet.
Are you sure?
I saw it on Mythbusters.
You just don't have the skill.
So it's true.
Now it's true.
It's definitely true. It was busted.
All right, so the plot of X-Men First Class, they go all the way back to 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and they throw mutants into the mix, kind of like they're the cause of it.
Right.
Sebastian Shaw, he actually started out in Nazi Germany as a scientist experimenting on these mutants, trying to kind of build the Brotherhood of, what are they called? The Brotherhood of Mutants? Is that what they're called?
Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yeah, so he was kind of building the team all the way since the 40s. Flash forward to 62, he's trying to play different countries against each other, trying to start a war. There was another movie I really liked to quote out of. It was the Sherlock movies with Robert Downey Jr. Moriarty was in there, and he was like, one of the greatest things you can do with war is always for profit. You give everybody a scratch out there, and you own the Band-Aid company.
Oh, yeah.
You make the bullets. You sell all these guys the bullets and stuff. You're good. So that's kind of what Sebastian Shaw was going for. He's trying to rule the world, but he's trying to start this war so the mutants can come out on top. It didn't quite follow the comic books as far as X-Men First Class. I don't know a ton about that line really, but it wasn't really spot on with that. But it was still a great story. They changed a lot of the relationships that we'll get into. One thing about this movie that hadn't been done yet, this one wasn't entirely about Wolverine. He had a cameo, that was it.
Which, as much as he's like one of my favorites, that was refreshing.
It was
Exactly.
refreshing.
I mean, it seems like the first 5 movies was
Were
Wolverine
Wolverine.
movies and some other people.
Exactly. So it was nice to kind of get, McAvoy and Fassbender in there. What'd you guys think about McAvoy, Professor X? You see him, he's got hair, he's walking.
Man, at first I couldn't even see him doing the character,
Yeah.
and the same thing like you're saying with all those characteristics missing from what you would think of, even in First Class. You know, when the X-Men came out, he was already in the wheelchair, he was
Exactly.
already bald, and he was already older, and kind of, on this mission to train people. So I was like, dude, but man, the more they played that out, it was to me, I thought that was perfect.
I thought it was great how they walked through that and
Showed.
literally for him to walk through everything.
Yeah.
But I thought he did a great job.
I think he did fantastic.
Dude, that right there was the second thing I'd seen him in was was this. Wanted was the first thing, but after that I was like, dude, you gotta watch this guy. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
he's
a fan
good.
now. Yeah,
He's good.
Yeah.
And talking about Sebastian Shaw,
Bacon.
I don't think you can do much better.
Yeah.
As to get somebody who, if you want someone who's going to be this just creep,
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon,
Bacon.
nails it.
He nailed it. He was like, in his own mind, he's the good guy of the story.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Mhm.
He just rocked that.
Did you
role.
see
It was
him in
awesome.
Sleepers?
Which one was that?
That was the one. It had
Angelina Jolie?
no, it's about the
Not
kids who
Angelina
went
Jolie,
into the juvenile detention
Oh, okay, I'm
center,
thinking
wrongly accused.
I think that movie where the whole group, like each one took turns dying and coming back to life.
Oh, no,
that
no,
was
no,
way
no,
back
no,
in
no,
the day.
yeah.
And it was not Angelina Jolie or Julia Roberts.
No, this one it was so good, but what he was, it was like this evil prison guard for this juvenile detention center where all these good kids got wrongfully accused and got sent into this terrible system. And he was, he like ended up just essentially, torturing and molesting these kids and stuff. And the whole story was about their revenge. But the thing is, I'd never, I always thought of this guy as Footloose, right?
Right.
And then you see
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and you're like, oh man, he did that because you're good when you play the role, and I literally hate you afterwards.
Yeah.
If you, dude, that
Yeah.
guy, I would want to just find him and beat him.
He's
with
got
it.
some classics. Hollow Man, I love that.
Yeah,
movie.
that was
Hollow
a
Man,
great
same
movie.
thing. Same thing.
And the following he's got going now, I think that's still a great show.
I haven't seen that, but I've
The
heard
first,
nothing but good
the
things
first
about
season I thought was great. The second season, not quite as good. Good stuff.
Haven't seen that. Would you recommend that?
I would.
Good?
I've heard
Yeah.
nothing but good things.
Good. All right.
Let me ask you this on Days of First, or not this one. Was this a 2-issue comic, or is that the next one?
What's that?
Days
First
of-
Class?
Days of Future Past. That was 2 issues, right? Or what was it? Or was
It
this
was
one?
kind of a storyline.
It was 2 comics.
That's what I was saying.
And because the thing is, I thought that it was a longer run,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
did too.
essentially 2
As I'm bringing
comic
this up,
books.
I'm thinking it was the
Oh,
second
okay.
movie we're going to talk about, not the first one.
All right. This is a preview for what we're about to
Yes,
talk
we're
about.
going to talk about later on. My bad.
We guys.
Hey, but the First Class, the only thing, one reason I think I went in with low expectations, I didn't know that the Hellfire Club was going to be involved. But First Class, even though it's not supposed to be the uncanny X-Men, where they reintroduced all the newer characters, this wasn't First Class. First Class is supposed to be Scott Summers, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, the Beast before he was furry, and Angel, And that was it. And I was so looking forward to that idea. And then I see these guys like, Banshee and Havoc, Cyclops' brother,
Yeah.
And I was like, why are you changing this? But I'm going to tell you what, I was pleasantly surprised,
Yep.
man. They
Honestly, I'm
nailed
okay
it.
without Jean Grey and Scott Summers. I think they're around so much. They're such staple characters in X-Men. Let us see somebody else for a little while.
I wouldn't mind seeing them just do what they were supposed to do one time, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's literally supposed to be the X-Men's Captain America.
Yeah.
He's the guy calling the shots, even though Wolverine hates him and everybody kind of pulls against him whenever they buff. If you ever want to read an incredible part with Cyclops to win him over, Astonishing X-Men. If you read that run in the first, I think the collected hardcover is like the first either 12 or 20 issues. I can't remember. But there's a couple of panels in there that I would not want to spoil it for you. Trust me, it's one of the best panels that I've ever seen in an X-Men book. So much so that when I let my buddy Brian borrow it, I said, there's one panel in there that after you finish, tell me what you think of it. And immediately when he got it, he was like, oh my God. And he nailed it. So
Awesome.
so Cyclops, if he did what he was supposed to do, he could be a lot stronger character.
Yeah, and probably have a bigger fan base with the movies too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, what'd you guys think about the show stealer? For me, Michael Fassbender, Magneto.
Without a doubt, the show stealer. D, had you ever seen him or heard of him in anything else before?
I don't believe I have.
Never.
Uh-uh.
And when you saw him, what was your first thoughts?
I thought he played an amazing role.
Yeah.
So when I watched that, I was like, yeah, I can see that being the young guy.
Yeah,
and see
yeah.
where he went off to become later on.
Yeah, kudos to him.
I thought it
Kudos
was
to Matt
great.
Vaughn for writing Magneto
Yeah.
like he was supposed to be written.
Mhm.
They did not get that right at all in the first trilogy. And Fassbender
Opinion.
killed it. Nothing against Ian McKellen. He did great with what he had, but this character.
I think he
was
just showed
written-
some disrespect because it's Sir Ian.
Sir.
It's
But
Sir
anyway,
Ian.
Hey, we haven't said Sir Patrick Stewart either.
Well, he deserves 2 stars. I'm just saying.
Hey, I'll tell you this though. He's the first time with Magneto on screen where you were actually like, this guy. I mean, if he wants to take and bring whatever he has to bear, a couple of those scenes in there were just unreal. The whole thing with when he went down, was it to Bolivia, and he found those Nazis and he had the beer.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
was
with
one of
him.
my favorite
Yeah,
scenes. Like
yeah.
right off the bat, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a fan." Now that's Magneto.
And there was always a rumor too after that he might be in the running. Whenever Daniel Craig wanted to be done with James Bond, that he
Ah.
would be it. And I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's Bond.
Mhm.
Yeah.
dude,
Yep.
I could
Yep.
see him as Bond, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fassbender, without a doubt, was I would call him in this series the breakout star. That was his breakout
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
His first
I
class.
totally agree.
He's
Totally
my
agree.
favorite character in this line of the movies.
Because that's got to be tough to take and put on some of the outfits and play it straight without feeling kind of goofy,
Uh-huh.
And here he is wearing this helmet and
Being
a cape,
commanding,
you know.
yeah. Trying
And
to
you
be
know what?
intimidating in this.
Yeah, and he did it.
Yeah,
I was like,
definitely.
yeah, great job. I can't wait to see him in other stuff too.
Me too. Moya McTaggart was in this film. She played a CIA agent that kind of worked with Charles a little bit. Now, in the comic book, she was actually Charles's ex-fiance. They were fiancés while they were both postgrads at Oxford. She's a geneticist, and she was Scottish. She worked on, is it Muir Island? Is
Yeah,
how you pronounce
yeah,
it? Over
yeah.
in Scotland, and she had a son, Proteus, who she kind of kept hidden from everyone because he was pretty dangerous actually. So her mission was always to try to find a cure for him. So she always worked with Charles, and they had this, just kind of this little flame still. You could tell it was in the past, but they were always
Yeah, you always got that sense in the
Yeah.
comics too that there's like, man, there's a whole story here
Yeah.
where I mean they still care about each
yeah.
other.
But actually in the comics, she was kind of with Banshee the whole time. So it's kind of interesting to see like this teenage Banshee. Then you got Moira over here, but they like
I love
don't
that
really have a
kid who did
connection.
Banshee, though.
Banshee was a great character. He was really cool.
I loved when they took it and were testing out his powers and pushed him off
Yeah.
the window.
The way they did his whole discovery of the flight, that was great.
Dude, that was great. And then him actually coming to terms at the end and out of the airplane.
Uh-huh.
That I was like, you were cheering for him. You're
Yeah.
like, come on, man, do it,
Yeah.
do it. That was
Mhm.
great.
That was cool. That was some cool effects in that one.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence, Mystique. She was a little different than the comic too. In the comic, she's a villain. She was always an assassin, and a little bit later, she kind of helped out Charles and was a member of the X-Men for a little while. She was Nightcrawler's mom. She was the adopted mother of Rogue. So they kind of steered away from that a little bit. They made her Professor X is Charles's childhood friend, They
Which was
grew up
totally
together.
different for me because I
Yeah.
grew up with.
She was always a bad guy,
Yeah,
yeah.
she was totally a bad guy.
So it's kind of different to have her growing up on the light side and going to the dark later.
And because I mean, you could tell she loved Charles in
Yeah.
that movie,
Yeah.
and you were like, "Wow, this isn't like they're friends."
She
played that
really, really well.
She's in love.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, Jennifer Lawrence, man, it's hard for her to do anything wrong in my eyes.
I tell you, what, I was just looking that up, and that was one of her first big roles.
Really?
Had
Yeah,
that Winter-
she had
Winter-
Winter's Bone just
yeah.
before that.
Oh,
But
man.
before that, it wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah.
And that's why when you said the other guys, it's his breakout, I think this might be one of her breakouts.
Oh wow, yeah. Because for some reason, thinking with her like also being involved with Hunger Games and being such a
they
staple
came
of that
out,
temple.
Yeah, they came out later.
Yeah, I honestly, if you did not told me that, I would have thought Hunger Games came out first, and that's why she got picked.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And I love her in the Hunger Games, man.
Yeah.
She's
I
awesome.
really like those. I don't think Josh likes those too well.
They're
but that's
okay.
Oh,
okay.
I don't hate them, but I don't love them either.
Was that Hunger Games?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're okay. I'll watch them.
Oh man, I thought those were good.
I did too.
What do you think about the incredibly hot January Jones, Emma Frost / White Queen?
Totally hot.
Totally.
Totally hot. And perfect for the idea of the white,
I believe so. She really
Emma
played it
Frost.
well. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I mean, I thought she was amazing in it too.
She was a strong second in command to Bacon, and
Mhm.
I love that they give her the diamond too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the diamond look.
The
I
White
thought that
Queen,
was great.
Yeah, White Queen's character. She's this seductive, thin woman who uses her powers to get ahead. So I
And
thought
her
she's
outfits
pretty
are-
close to the comic.
Her outfits are always something to be remembered.
Yes, they are.
In the
Yes.
comics, you're like, oh, that's Emma Frost right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic, and I loved that scene where they had to take and go in and get the guy, the officer in Germany.
Yeah.
And she was in there doing her thing. I was like, man, she's great for this role.
Yeah, definitely. Nicholas Hoult as Beast. I kind of like the way they explained him getting the fur. Like he tried to come up with a
cure.
for himself,
Yeah.
and it backfired. Because in the comics, he kind of like he came up with this mutagen to kind of like disguise the way he looks, so he could like almost do this like spy thing in his where he worked, because people were trying to steal his research.
Yeah.
So he changed the way he looked, and then he didn't reverse it in time, and he started.
That was a
mutating
good
stuff.
story too.
It was good,
Good,
but,
good
you know,
I
explanation.
liked it.
I kind of like
Yeah.
what they did with the movie a little better. It's like, I don't want to look like this. I'm going to try to cure myself, but it backfires, and now I got to live with my decision.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah. The character, or the actor rather, I didn't care for him too much during the beginning, because he just seemed like he was so shy, and I didn't ever have that kind of feel from Hank. He was always like a complete genius, and maybe he would have a hard time relating, but it wasn't shyness. It's because he's like, I'm thinking about things that I'm on a different level
Yeah.
than you guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
But physically looking, though, I think when Beast started, he was already kind of like almost like a circus attraction. He's like kind of like an ape of a man. He was really big. He didn't have the hair yet, but he was still just like he was
he was huge, yeah.
So like to make him just a normal kid that was like a genius, but he had a little difference about him and stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of dug that.
Well, I like the fact that like they gave him the genius aspect, where he was, but just him like stuttering around like
Yeah.
this schoolboy,
Unsure
wondering
of
if he can
himself.
hold this girl's hand and stuff. I was like, that's not what I was thinking.
Yeah. Well,
Now, was it him and Mystique that had the relationship in this movie?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought that chemistry they had on screen, I thought it worked really well.
That was
I
good.
did too.
And then
I
they,
did too.
They tried to hint with like something with her and Magneto a little bit, and I thought that was just odd.
Well, that just
Yeah.
came across as creepy.
Yeah,
'Cause he
to me
he
too.
played really old in
yeah,
this.
he's
Yeah.
like 35, 40, and she's a teenager. I'm like, what are y'all doing here?
Like
A
16,
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not gonna work.
little strange.
No, but I did too. I liked the relationship. I thought they.
her
they did
trying
good.
to help him, like when he was changing, trying to like help him through that stuff. I thought that was really well.
I did too.
really
I thought
well.
that
Yeah, that was
great.
pretty cool.
In fact, when I looked at that moment when he became Beast, you could tell she was like, you know what, I actually like you probably even more,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because dude, this is my true form,
Right.
and that's when I really kind of liked him, like when he growled being touched that one time,
Yeah.
and took Magneto down. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, that is the Beast, though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I would see for him. That
That's
was a
pretty
cool
cool.
Yeah,
moment.
that was good.
Dude, so yeah, what did you guys think about the Hellfire Club as far as all of their different powers? You know how they had the guy who could do the tornadoes,
Riptide, yeah.
and Azrael,
Azrael,
kind of,
yeah.
Azrael, yeah.
What is it?
It's Azrael, right?
Azrael, yeah.
I
Azrael.
think so.
Azrael,
He was pretty cool. He's Nightcrawler's dad. He's basically the red version of Nightcrawler.
which I thought was great.
He had
Yeah.
one of the coolest scenes in the movie. They have this. They're having their little party. They're having fun, and then a body falls out of the sky. They're like, "What?"
How
they get
cool.
up. Another body falls out of the sky. What is going on? They look up in the sky. Azrael's popping up in the sky, 500 feet in the sky, dropping bodies and just letting them hit the ground and die. I was
Oh,
like, that is
man,
awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
And I loved whenever like they said, "Hey, we got to get somebody there. Grab his hand," and he, took everyone. I was like, "Wow, that
That's
guy, that is cool."
And he
Yeah.
doesn't have the limits of Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler had to see where he was going.
Yeah.
Azrael would teleport halfway across the world.
How cool!
Yeah.
That was awesome, and I love the red Nightcrawler. I was like, "Oh, I'm down with that. Let's see what you
Yeah.
got, man."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually him and Mystique had Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's his mom. I mean, Mystique's Nightcrawler's mom.
You see, when I was watching that, I didn't know that,
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
and I thought that I was like, "Man, is this like a ripoff of? Hey, we got to have a new guy." It's like, why don't you just call him Nightcrawler, dude? And then I was like, "Yeah, I got to do some fact checking on this because I never read him in any of the storylines."
Yeah,
so.
see, they throw these characters in here, and they don't use the relationships from the comics, which I find odd. Like Havoc was in the movie; they never mentioned he was Cyclops' brother.
Yeah.
Are they ever going to? I don't know. They're both going to be in Apocalypse. Are they going to say they're brothers? I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you, I still, to this day, especially, and we've talked about this in other podcasts with these movie studios, I do not know why they want to take and veer always from staples of the storyline. It's like, why would you change the relationship? How does that help your story?
Exactly. What does that
You know?
accomplish? Changing it like
I don't
that?
get that. Why don't you take and find the relationships that are already proven and exist, and then make your story work through that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because you could do everything that they did within that.
Yeah.
So that's most of the main cast. You guys want to talk about a couple highlights of this movie? Like, we went over Magneto in the bar. That was an epic scene. I love that. You know,
that
he's
was-
like rips the knife off the wall, throws it at the bartender, pulls it back, stab the dude in the hand,
And then
like,
finishes his
yeah,
beer.
yeah, finishes his beer. Like, makes the guy shoot his friend. I was like,
And him
oh, that is
speaking in
Magneto.
German, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because I was like, he didn't learn that.
He's
thing.
like, oh,
That's
you're,
him.
You're
Yeah.
a farmer. You're a miner. A farmer and a miner killed my parents.
Oh, that was so
That was
good.
That was
That's
nice.
probably one of my favorite scenes.
Mine too. That's
in
when you
that
really know
movie.
he's Magneto.
Yep.
It's
You're like,
awesome.
that dude is going to kill everybody.
Yep. Mhm.
He has lost it. As well he should, being like, a victim of the Nazis.
Most of my favorite scenes involve Magneto. The next one, the highlight of the film, the finale, the climax. Sebastian Shaw is wearing the helmet that blocks Charles. They get it off of him, and Charles immediately freezes Shaw. And you cut back to the memory at the very beginning of the movie.
Right.
Shaw says, "Push this. I'm gonna count to 3.
Yeah, I remember
you
that,
push
yeah.
this coin with your
Yep.
powers, or I'm
Mhm.
gonna kill your mom." He counts to 3 and he kills his mom. So now, flash forward to the end of the movie. He kept that coin the entire time. And
Oh,
he's
that
like,
was money, dude.
I'm
was a
gonna
great
count to
scene.
3 and I'm gonna push the coin. And he puts it right in front of his head. And I kind of get the feeling, Charles couldn't let go, or Shaw would probably defeat Magneto, honestly, because
Yeah.
he'd use his powers to probably blow him up or
Right,
something.
right.
So I kind of imagine when that coin was going through his brain, Charles felt that. What do you guys think?
Do you think like maybe he was like, I don't want you to do this. My moral compass says no.
I think he physically felt it,
Oh,
like
wow.
an empath.
Now you know what?
So-
I wouldn't have thought
I
that.
never thought of that.
No, I never
Yeah,
did.
I don't know.
He screamed the entire time. Like, I don't know. It just kind of
Well,
struck me like,
Yeah.
I do remember him doing that, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why. I was thinking that it was. I was always thinking that, it was more empathy
Yeah.
for this guy's pain, not like
Uh-huh.
he was actually, channeling.
See,
it.
my mind, I was thinking he was kind of in his mind saying, "I need to hold this guy," and saying, "No, Magneto, don't do this,"
Yeah,
and
don't-
yelling, "No!"
Yeah.
Like,
don't,
Oh, yeah.
don't give
do
in to
this.
your hate and
Don't
everything.
get
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
because he's crossing to the dark side
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah.
And that was my take on that.
I tell you,
I see that too.
that was a totally intense scene, especially when they actually had that coin and it's going through
Yeah.
in slow motion.
Yeah,
That's like
super slow
somebody,
motion, yeah.
like a trash compactor.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
One
know?
thing they do in movies, I love when they do this in movies. There's an epic moment, a very tense moment, and somebody screams, but you don't hear the scream. It's like silence. You
Yeah.
can see them scream. I love when they do that.
Oh,
in
dude,
movies.
that brings it. Doesn't
Yeah.
It?
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you, another one of my favorite scenes was all of them training. I love that. Maybe it's because
Just that montage.
Dude.
Yeah.
Rocky, right?
Yeah,
Give me a
that's
montage.
exactly what I
Give
was
me
gonna
a
say.
montage.
Let's throw a song behind it. We're good.
Dude. I love to see these guys because you can see they're forming as not just individuals but as a
A
team.
team, yes.
Can I just say this? Fantastic Four screwed that up. Anyway,
Yes,
Yeah.
they took that whole year of
they
training
did.
right out of it.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that 1 year later.
Like, wait a
Right-
minute, what?
Right in the
Anyway.
middle of that montage was
Give the
another great
rights back.
scene.
Give them back to Marvel. You've played in the sandbox and you've broken every toy.
Please.
It's done. Hey, the other thing is, what do you think about the outfits? They're, because everybody had been always screaming, I want to see the blue versions.
Uh-huh.
Cyclops is pretty much, that's kind of his uniform a
Yeah.
lot of times. But in the X-Men First Class, that's what they wore, that
Yeah,
blue.
yeah.
I was so tickled when I saw
Yeah.
that. I was like, oh, man,
Yeah, I
that's
dug that.
really cool.
It kind of fit in with the 60s vibe, plus
Yeah,
it was
totally,
comic book. I was
totally.
like, nice, very nice.
I thought that was great.
Another great moment was in that montage where Charles is training Magneto to do something really big with his powers. And it's like,
Oh.
move that satellite. And, he gets into his mind. He unlocks that memory that he'd kind of
Oh,
forgotten.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
your greatest power is right in between serenity and rage. You find that point, you can do
What a
incredible
line.
things. Yeah,
What a
you know?
great line, man. Because you always wonder, you look at these guys and you can tell they're focusing in the comics and stuff. But to bring it on a deeper level of, where they have to draw from. Because
Uh-huh.
I love when I see sometimes, like, you'll see them, the concentration's so bad, like their nose will start bleeding or something,
Yeah.
And it's like, where do you have to go to take and pick up a battleship?
Right.
Or the Golden Gate Bridge or one of these
Right.
things. It's like, oh, wow, you are a master of your powers.
That is excellent.
And I loved the fight scene. I mean, like when they were in, the Black Hawk.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and they were saying, all right, it's go time, and Magneto is kind of taking control a little bit and opening the hatch. Dude, I was like, this is a fight I wanted
Yeah.
to see. Very cool.
I love when, like, after he'd done his ending with Shaw, and he comes out of the sub, and he just, like, drops his limp body like trash on the side of the road. That was like awesome.
Dude, that was great.
I love
and him getting, you know, with, I hate to do this because it's almost like a spoiler, but I think everybody who's probably heard this far.
Yeah, if you're
is
listening to
probably-
this.
yeah,
exactly.
you've seen it. You know, with him getting, you know, shot
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and
I
his
mean,
legs.
that whole beach scene I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, I mean, you freeze everything, and that one bullet gets through.
Yeah.
and not only that, but people they choose sides right
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dude, you talk about the
Yeah.
heartache. Someone that you called family.
Yeah.
And, said,
And the
"No."
one
Yeah.
that I really felt for in that was Mystique.
Yeah, me too.
You could just see she wanted to stay with Professor X.
yeah. I mean,
Still
you're,
loved him, but
Yeah.
didn't believe in the vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing.
I was, yeah.
That was just so well done.
And it's hard not to take and, you know, vibe with the vision. He
Mhm.
goes, look, we're going to be hunted. We need to fight. Because let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You know, history is written by the winners.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if they're hunting you and you're not fighting, then you're, you know, what are you, spineless?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of diplomacy, but let me tell you what, self-protection first. So when I see these kind of choices, there is no black and white, there's gray, and that's what makes these movies so interesting.
Yeah.
You know, good stuff though. What would you give it for a grade?
Man, I thought it was so good. It's hard for me to just automatically say A+ on this one because I thought both of these two movies were great. I'm going A on it.
You?
I'll go low A, yeah.
I'd go a solid A. Yeah,
Yeah.
A+ is. I mean, to me, and this is as close as I probably have in all of the other stuff.
Uh-huh.
The other ones that I'd put up there would be the Avengers and Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Mm.
You know, for my A+.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Winter Soldier.
Oh, those
yeah.
are incredible movies. But this one's solid A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Definitely the best X-Men movie so far.
Yeah, I thought so.
Dude, now that goes, you know, to saying, hey, we got the next one here.
Yeah.
So the next
the
one-
2-issue based on
Yeah.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Preview is now about to happen.
3 years later, 2014, for some reason, Bryan Singer's back.
That's your boy.
He's
Yeah.
got dirt on somebody.
That is your
Yeah.
boy.
No
That
kidding.
guy
Why
has
was-
got pictures
You know?
or recordings because he is back.
But the ray of sunshine in this was Matt Vaughn was at least the writer, so yeah, at least we got a little story out of him, even though Bryan Singer.
I remember being so mad when he got this. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah,
Singer-
Bryan Singer was like, "Y'all had a movie without Wolverine. How dare you?"
Exactly. Let's bring Wolfie back.
Dude. But you know what? I love that story.
Yeah.
But I went in there because I've learned my lesson, man. I went in with lower expectations,
Yeah.
and I really dug it.
I did too, but you know, I still like this one less than First
Yeah, I
Class.
agree.
But
Oh,
you know,
me too. Yeah, I did too. I liked it less than First Class.
Technically, what they did with the movie was actually pretty close to the comic. They went back in time to stop an assassination that kind of changed the mutant-human relationship, and the Sentinels in the future were pretty much wiping out all the mutants. I mean, that's pretty much what they did with the movie.
But you know what's funny about this is that normally it's the reverse is true. In most cases, there's so much material, written material, they have to pare it down.
Yeah.
And this one, you know, as much as I love that storyline, it's literally 2 comics.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's 2
Yeah.
issues. And they had to fluff it up.
Yeah.
And the danger is that, gosh, if you don't stay with, you know, the theme, you know, appropriate, the tone, what are you going to get? Maybe something completely different. But I thought they did great.
Now, in the
Yeah.
comics, they sent Kitty Pryde back, and Singer said he actually thought about that, but he loved Ellen Page and what she did with Shadowcat in The Last Stand.
Yeah.
So he brought her back as Shadowcat, but she was 25 at the time, so she's like, we can't send this chick back 45 years in the past. She'll be like negative 20 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, we got to send Wolfie back, so they brought his boy back. It's in the 70s instead of the 80s, but, you know, I'm okay with that because we're getting the 80s in Apocalypse. One of my biggest complaints is the Sentinels. I thought the Sentinels were kind of lame looking. What do you
I
guys think?
thought they were too.
Yeah,
Because I always
looked
thought
like iRobot or something.
well, you remember what we talked about with the Sentinel head in
Yeah,
the danger room
yeah.
scene?
Yeah.
It was just a step up from that.
Yeah,
You know, and you know what? I hate it that I understand. I really do, as far as making them plastic so Magneto couldn't have control over them because that's one of the things. but they look plastic.
Yeah.
They look plastic, and they were the size of two people. And like you said, the Sentinels are supposed to be like a normal person would stand on the shoulder of a Sentinel and like
Yep.
try to hack away at its
Kind
neck.
of like the
They were-
Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not Godzilla,
Yeah.
but also not two guys in a suit with a helmet on it.
Exactly. So I thought that was kind of, and actually getting into the story a little bit, Magneto just threw these like metal rails from a train line into their bodies, and like now all of a sudden he can control them by talking to them and stuff. I was
Ye-
like, that's kind of a lame.
Yeah, you know what? I thought that too. I was like, we're really stretching here.
You know.
Matt was working on the Kingsman at the time, and he said, I got to have this one in, man.
Bring Matt back, please. They used Trask instead of actually. Mystique went back in the past to kill Senator Kelly in the comics, so they put Bolivar Trask, who was the guy that created the Sentinels. So having her go back and assassinate him, that makes sense. I'm okay with that.
Dude, and the actor, he's got
Peter Dinklage,
love him in Game of Thrones.
dude, he's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And he's such
Yeah.
a strong presence. I mean, it's funny because it's cliche for such a small person to have that kind of a presence. He is gold. Though.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
He is gold. He's one of the highlights of that film.
He's very
He's one of those
charismatic.
guys. When I see him in anything, I really start liking it.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he was just in a Sandler movie, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden I became a fan of the Sandler movie.
Pixels.
Now that
Yeah.
right there, I saw what you're saying, and I couldn't agree more because I was like, why am I watching this movie, Pixels?
He had some of the best
Yeah,
lines
and
in the
I
movie,
thought-
though.
But he was great in
And I
that.
was like, I think, someone can save a Sandler movie. And for me, the longest time, Sandler was just gold.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, past tense, way
He's
past
not.
tense. Yes.
Dude, y'all are killing me. Sandler's my man.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Even now with these bombs that he puts out?
If I could meet any celebrity, it would be Jackie Chan first, but Sandler second.
Like
Wow.
a decade ago, I would have said Sandler.
Wow, that you are setting the bar low, bro.
Sandler's just like he's
I'm-
like
I'm-
just the cool everyman. Like you feel like you just go hang
So
out
I'm
with him.
going to hang out with Kate Beckinsale. What are you talking
Well,
about?
yeah.
Kate Upton.
All right, a couple like little, not really cameos, but small roles. We had Iceman in the beginning, Storm, the older
Yeah,
Professor X
yeah.
and Magneto were back.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about this because the whole thing where these guys were being under attack by the updated Future
Yeah.
Sentinels.
Uh-huh.
All right, now here we have a movie opportunity where you've got millions of dollars for special effects
$200 million budget.
to go into a fight, the X-Men versus the Sentinels. Let's go. Now, to be honest, there were some parts in those fights that I loved, but there are some parts that are completely unforgivable from a fan standpoint. Like, dude, there's some things that were what is the Indians
Warpath?
Warpath. Him jumping up and taking, the knives to him. I mean, that was just gold. I love that.
Mhm.
But Colossus.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
Honestly, I
Colossus.
actually forgot he was in the movie.
That's terrible too.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna have the muscle, he's there. Every team's got to have the muscle.
Uh-huh.
Colossus is theirs. He's the X-Men's version of a Hulk.
Yeah.
Strength level kind of character.
Right.
All right. Granted, he's not the Hulk. There's one Hulk, right? But he goes in there and essentially doesn't even do well one-on-one with these guys.
No. Yep.
He's like a pretty strong guy. But when they took and all of a sudden ganged up on him and then ripped him in half inside of I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not a writer, all right? But if I was going to write that, the first thing I'd have him do is cleaning house like your good friend Jackie Chan.
Right.
And then being overwhelmed.
Yeah. Give him a little nice ending.
Give him something where he was like, dude, he was good until he got swarmed on by 50 Sentinels.
Maybe they just wanted to show that there's no fighting these guys. They've adapted them so well with Mystique's DNA that you don't stand a chance. They're
Dude,
wiping
they
out the
took that
mutants.
$200 million and someone put some of that in their pocket instead of in
Exactly.
the special effects. They go, we only need 10 for this fight.
Compare it to the Avengers that only had 220 mil, 20 mil more, which Robert Downey got that. So
Yeah, that's right.
those millions go quick when you got these guys with good agents.
I mean, where exactly like you said, where did $200 million go in this movie?
It didn't go in the Sentinels because plastic, man, they got Tupperware out there that are flying around.
And the guys at the end didn't even look like Sentinels. They were like these weird
I didn't
things.
think I didn't mind him. Like, just to look at him, I thought it was kind of a cool scene to see him all lined up, shoulder to shoulder. I was like, you know what? That looks kind of cool, man. I've wanted to see that. But still, then they take off and they look like hovercraft.
Yeah.
Like, they're kind of floating. It's like, don't unplug the vacuum.
Yep.
That sucker's gonna fall out of the sky. But the show stealer, there was one, and I always kind of judge this by how my son, when I'm watching it, what he reacts to, knowing nothing about the history of these guys.
Yeah.
Is how he reacts to certain moments, and without a doubt, and I have to agree with him, Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the scene of the
Yeah.
movie.
That was the scene. Connor about lost his mind, and I did too. I mean, I
Yeah.
love that. Time in a bottle, slow motion, and here he is going to town.
Yeah.
That was great. Now, if you're talking about this, you know how everybody was always talking about who's going to take in. They're going to have 2 Quicksilvers coming out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You got Age of Ultron,
Mm-hmm.
and you got Days of Thunder. Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past.
Meow.
Cole Trickle won the battle.
Drive fast, turn left.
Yeah. Tom Cruise did great in this.
I'm eating ice cream.
But Days of Future Past, right? And he took, if you had to put him up against, who wins the Quicksilver battle? Who had the better Quicksilver interpretation?
That one scene was great, but I like the other Quicksilver.
Did you really?
I liked it.
I'm the exact opposite. I
Yeah.
thought it was phenomenal.
He
I
just,
mean, that scene was great, but I think he had like a sense of humor going about him, and I like that character.
I don't think that's Quicksilver. Quicksilver's kind of a stiff,
Okay. I don't think either one of those guys was Quicksilver.
Yeah, me either,
You know?
I would say this. My nephew. We were talking about that. He's like, man, that guy was great in that.
Which one? Which
I
one?
I want to say this. He was 12. Days of Future Past.
Okay. He
And-
liked
and
that
he,
one.
he's 12, actually 14 now. But he said, man, I love that character. He said, I
Connor
didn't like
did.
the other one as much.
Oh, yeah.
One
Yeah.
thing I liked that they did about this one, not just that scene, was I didn't actually know this. Quicksilver is not just a fast runner like the Flash. He does everything faster. Like, he can think faster. He speaks faster. So, there was a scene at the end. He's like, I went on the plane. I read the manifest. I did all this stuff. I come back. I did all that where you're standing there like and blinked. It's like he can.
Now, you see, I never thought of
He
that.
doesn't.
That's cool.
He doesn't just run, but he can actually live his life that quickly. And
One of the coolest things I ever heard in relation, I hate to jump ship and go to DC, but about the Flash, it was so cool. As one of the taglines they used to describe the character, the man who lives lifetimes between your seconds.
Uh-huh.
Because like while you're there, like you said, I can do something that would have taken you weeks.
Yeah.
In the blink of an eye, not even seconds. That's cool. That's a great idea.
So like that whole scene, he didn't just run around in a circle and punch them all in the face. He took his time. He put a hat on.
I love them
Yeah.
moving the bullets out of
Yeah,
the
that was
way.
a great thing.
That was
And you
amazing.
could tell
Did he like move like one guy so he'd punch the other guy? I was like, that was
punched himself in the
phenomenal.
face.
You
Yeah.
could tell he's a
Yeah.
kid who's like, oh, let's have some fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun.
And you
with
could
it.
tell, I've done this before. I know how to take and work this so that this kaboom, like domino effect.
Yeah.
Neither one of those guys was my version of
I
Quicksilver
agree.
in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked them both, but if I had to give a winner, it was Days of Future Past because of just that one scene, even though
Yeah.
that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I like when he broke him out of the prison too. He's like he changes his clothes and then
Duct
Yeah.
tapes the guy. Remember
he starts smacking the top of it so fast that it shatters and everything.
I thought that was
Yeah.
some good,
Yeah.
good stuff. But
And I love the little nod that they gave. Like, my mom said my dad could.
Oh, dude,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
when I
yes.
heard that, I was digging that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, okay. I love Easter eggs. I don't care. I don't pick them all up, and I wish I did because sometimes, if you take and hear the backstory of it, you can really geek out even more. But when you do catch something like that, man, that makes it so much fun.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
them dropping those in there.
Yeah.
The more the better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if you miss some, you can go to YouTube. They'll spoil all of them for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
it's so funny because I'll go on, and a lot of times you'll have these guys on YouTube that'll say 15 things you didn't know about Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
And 7 of them, I don't care that I didn't know them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
true, true.
Exactly.
But still, it's worth sitting through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth sitting through it.
Now, besides Quicksilver, another one of my favorite scenes was when old Professor X meets young Professor X. He goes back through Wolverine's consciousness
Yeah,
and has
very
a little
cool.
talk to
Mhm.
him. I was
Very
like,
cool.
That is amazing, dude. That's like an emotional scene. That's awesome.
It was good because he was like, I need you to be what you can be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, like at the beginning of that, he was like broken.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
right.
basically
Yeah.
gave up, was
Yeah.
doing drugs,
Yeah, and because when I saw that, I was like, wow.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, and I thought, was it James McAvoy?
Yeah.
Thought he played that so well.
Oh,
too.
man. You see him, he's broken.
Yeah.
He really
I
is.
mean, you see, he just
All the people in the school got drafted in the Vietnam War. I mean, it was pretty much a shell of a house at that point.
Oh. Now here's the thing. the kind of elephant in the room. You got this movie, time travel does such a great job of fixing boo-boos.
Yep.
You know, that's
Except
what,
one.
right. Well, and here's the thing. That's the greatest thing. Like Back to the Future. All right, you got to go back and help your dad.
Yeah.
You know, and look at what happened. You know, Marty comes back and his dad is rich and successful.
Yep.
It changed him and stuff.
And he got that truck.
And he got the wah wah. That's a good moment.
Spoiler.
Right? A spoiler alert. What? What'd you do?
Go back in time and watch it again.
Dude, it's your kids, Marty. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it never ends. You know, but on this one, all of a sudden they come back, and Wolverine, of course, and doesn't that suck?
Yeah, he lost 30 years.
Well,
Yeah.
not only that, but you can't tell anybody. Nobody's gonna believe you.
Yeah.
You know, and nobody's gonna remember. Like what are you
Professor
talking
knows,
about?
though. Professor knows.
Right. He's the only one.
Yeah.
But what did you think about that as a Fox Studios get out of jail free card for what they did in Part 3, killing everybody, Cyclops?
They had to do it.
Oh, they had to do it. But I was like, you know what? You guys are cheesy.
One thing I don't like is at the end of Last Stand, you know, everybody's dead. Professor X is dead. You know, we won't count that little extra scene where he's in the other body with
Yeah,
Only
that
Order.
was stupid.
I mean, Professor X
That
is
was
dead.
stupid.
And then here we are in Days of Future Past. It's still the future that has not been changed yet. Yet Professor X is there, and they never explain that.
Dude, I thought about that. I was like, wait a minute. You guys are still confusing me. I think they were like going to be like, ta-da! It all worked out.
Well, they even
That's
got.
where some more of that $200 million went in them writers' pockets.
I think it was at the end of X-Men Origins Wolverine. I think when Wolverine was walking through the airport, and you first see Patrick Stewart roll back, and you know even then Wolverine was like, "How are you alive?" And he's like, "We all have our secrets" or something like that. And they kind of give a hint like they're going to explain it in Future Past, and just nada.
Yeah.
Now, what would you give this movie as a grade? Because as hard as I can be on some of these films like that, I really did enjoy it.
I enjoyed it.
I gave X-Men 2, X-Men United a B, and comparatively to this movie, I don't know. They're kind of even. I don't know if I like one better than the other, so you know maybe a B on this one too.
Really? Wow. You put this then on the same level as X3?
Yeah.
X2, X-Men United with
Oh, okay,
Nightcrawler.
okay. Now that I can definitely see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see those being on. What about you, D?
I'm going at least a little bit less than the last one. Not a lot less, just a little.
Oh, then First Class.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
In First Class, I'm saying like I gave that one an A. I'm saying like an A minus.
I'm right there with you.
I mean,
I don't think it's
at the
that good.
No.
lowest, at the very lowest, B plus.
Really?
But again, Josh,
I feel like
you've had
such a
this-
follower.
You got this huge background in it.
Yeah, there were
that
so
I
many
didn't have.
plot holes in this
And
movie.
I think
though.
that's a big difference. And one thing I must say, growing up, I was so much more DC than Marvel.
Uh-huh.
Like from the X-Men, I knew Cyclops, I knew Storm, Wolverine, Professor X, who else?
The main staple
Magneto,
ones,
yeah,
yeah.
Magneto, Mystique. I didn't have this Sabretooth also.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't have that in depth with all the other characters.
Mhm.
And I think that's why my perspective is a little bit different.
Yeah, that's why I'm so critical on these
Mm-hmm.
movies. But there were plot holes, like, you know, at the end, they save the day, and Charles just lets Magneto go, you know? Like, he's like, okay, just go fly away.
Yeah.
I agree. Those kind of things don't sit well with me because
Mm-hmm.
it almost comes across as lazy writing.
They dropped the Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium all the way around the White House, and they're just like, what are we going to do with this? Just leave it here?
Dude. Now, what about because first, my grade, I have to say just like you, I'd say this is either an A minus to a B plus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Sentinels I didn't like.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of a thing that I was hoping for really, really big.
Yeah, that's one of the things we've kind of been waiting for. The Sentinels were always a big thing in the comic, and especially the cartoon as well. The very first couple episodes where the
It's
Sentinels
so-
tearing up the
it's so
mall.
classic.
Yeah, it's iconic. Their look is very iconic, and you know,
Yeah.
then you got Master Mold, this even bigger when he's a giant. That's
Right.
like churning out these Sentinels. I'm like,
Now, on the plus side, I actually heard some of the behind the scenes thought process about how they designed the updated ones.
Uh-huh.
And it made a lot of sense. They were like, well, if this thing is supposed to keep getting better and almost evolve, you
Yeah.
know, intelligence-wise, you know, the fact that it would be those little panels
Uh-huh.
that could kind of shape shift to they can get anywhere, like a Terminator with
Yeah.
liquid metal type of thing. I
Yeah.
thought that was a cool idea.
I'll buy that if they were bigger, but the 70s ones were supposed to be the classic ones, and
That's
they
right.
were lame.
And I don't know why you would not say, all right, look, we've got the blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
We've already got the storyboards.
They even threw it in
We've
Last
even got the
Stand.
scale.
Well, yeah, they made the one in Last Stand. Just make the body for it.
Make
Yeah.
the body for it. So
You know, there
yeah.
were scenes like, what'd you guys think about the? Well, first before I get there, I want to talk about one more cool scene. Was the president goes down in the White House? He goes into a safe room, but his safe room is made out of metal, so Magneto just rips the thing right
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
White House.
Thought that was cool.
I was like,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Thought
awesome.
that was really cool.
At the end, Mystique is actually Stryker who takes Wolverine's body away. What do you guys think about that? Because you know Stryker's going to take Wolverine, turn him into Weapon X, but
Oh,
he's
right,
already
yeah.
Weapon X now, so I don't know how that's going to
Now,
work.
to be
but
honest, I hate to say this, but remind me again. You're saying that
at the very end of
it
the
wasn't
movie,
Stryker, it was Mystique.
It was it was Mystique
Disguising.
looking like Stryker.
Okay,
yeah.
I see what you're
'Cause
saying.
that was another lame part of the movie. Wolverine's the main character, but he gets tossed away and has nothing to do with the climax of the movie.
It's
Yeah.
funny because they had to say, and now he goes back to the future. And he gets a black truck, and his parents are there. They have a book coming out.
But yeah, at the end of the movie, they pull him out of the water. Stryker's like, "I'll take him," and you see the eyes flash, and it's Mystique.
Dude, crazy. Now, I do like the fact that at least they took and recognized they needed to clean up the mess they had made by killing Professor X, Cyclops, and all these
yeah,
guys.
that was a good choice.
I kind of dug that. I also liked, seeing Colossus not ripped in pieces and Iceman, Bobby Drake back too. But no, I was not real tickled that I was like, wow, that's how you're gonna do that.
Have you guys seen I guess it's the director's cut version. It's called the Rogue cut that came out on
You know
TV?
what?
I know it just come out not too long ago,
Yeah.
and I never saw it.
I haven't seen it yet.
I've heard about it, and I've heard that it's really, really good too.
Really?
Well, it's a couple things like Daredevil, the director's cut.
Yeah.
If you see that, it's a
Yeah.
different movie and it's a
Mhm.
better movie.
Well, they
Much better
say
movie.
Rogue filmed a lot of scenes, but just her schedule, she couldn't work it in, so they ended up pretty much cutting her entire character out of the movie. And I was completely happy.
So
with
they
that.
made that just for you.
Yes, they
Your
did.
favorite Rogue.
I loved that when I heard that. Oh,
But
no
you haven't
Rogue.
seen it?
I have not. No, I don't care to see it.
No, I might if the reviews on it were stronger than the
Yeah.
other one. I'd like to see what
I haven't
they
even
did
heard
with
any
it.
reviews or anything about it. I just remember seeing it. I was like, I don't really need to see that.
I was just
Yeah.
glad Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy and that whole first class thing kept me
Yeah.
in the seats. Quicksilver.
Mhm.
After they ripped Colossus apart, I was ready to walk out.
Really?
Like, what?
Is
And
that the
then
beginning of the movie or the end?
At the
fight
beginning.
Scene? The beginning.
I was like, that sucks.
The end when
I was not happy.
Yeah.
I kind of liked at the end where they were breaking in, and it's pretty much down to Charles and Magneto, and Magneto's like, "I'm up, I'm going out, dude."
Oh, dude, that
It's
was
like, this is where we end, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
buy you some time.
oh, dude, that was good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the next installment.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
That little after credit scene where you see Apocalypse
Like in
building the
Egypt.
pyramids.
Yeah, right?
What do you guys think when you saw that?
At first I was like, now, who is this guy?
Oh my God, get out of here!
I know, right?
Ah.
I did some homework afterwards. I was like, oh.
Yes, Apocalypse.
All right.
I love it.
Okay, listen, I have to confess. I remember when this storyline came out, and I didn't read all of it or follow it, and I saw like Archangel, Archangel, how they took and changed,
Yeah.
Warren Worthington with this, and that was a big moment because I was like, okay, we're redesigning the character. And here's
Yes.
why, and I was like, man, one day I got to read that up. This is getting me excited. I was like, yeah, I've got to go get that graphic novel and sit down for a little bit.
When I came from the cartoon to the first X-Men movie, and I had that level of excitement for seeing an X-Men movie, I'm back there again. I cannot wait. Apocalypse and Mr. Sinister and Gambit and all that.
Dude, now
I cannot wait.
in Mr. Sinister, the storyline Inferno. Did you ever read that?
I'm not sure.
Fantastic one, man. Fantastic. And you're
Yeah, that caught me off guard there.
Caught me
I
off
was like, what in the world?
but
Turn your vibe down, kids.
that right there. I also heard a rumor that Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad.
Okay, if he does anything, I'll watch it twice.
Yeah,
he-
you know.
the rumor is, if I'm hearing it right, is that he is wanting to be Mr. Sinister.
That would be epic.
Yeah.
I was like, yes,
Yes.
yes.
And if they do that, they gotta throw Gambit in.
Oh, dude,
You and your Gambit.
But I gotta
Ramelabu.
I gotta throw.
You just want to see Channing Tatum, that's all.
I'll chain it all over your Tatum, baby. I gotta say a couple little criticisms here. First, Bryan Singer's back, blah.
I gotta second that. After Superman,
Yeah.
the Man of Steel, I was like,
so bad.
Simon
Wait, he was the Man of Steel, or was he?
Superman
I'm
Returns.
sorry, not Man of Steel. Superman Returns.
Yeah, because I was like, whoa, wait
No,
a
Zack
minute.
Snyder's a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zack Snyder. Yeah.
Sorry, Zach. I love you.
Give this one to Zach. Come on. Simon Kinberg is writing the screenplay. Matt Vaughn's completely out of this movie, it seems. And Kinberg, he wrote Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which I didn't mind. I thought
It
that was
was
a decent.
okay.
I like that movie.
It was
He,
good, it was good.
he wrote. He's the one.
Kind
that,
of forgettable.
He's the one that wrote X-Men: Last Stand. He wrote Jumper, which wasn't a great movie.
I didn't mind that either. It was
I
okay.
didn't mind it, but
Lincoln Vampire Hunter Killer or whatever it was.
that was not fun.
Well, you know what though? I love the whole idea of the story, so I watched it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I watched it, but
Your favorite movie? He wrote the last Fantastic Four that just came out.
did he really?
Legend? Wait for it. No, it's not Derry.
Not Derry.
Not Derry at
So,
all.
Yeah,
I knew that, and I was so ticked to find out.
Yeah.
Why are you still getting work?
You know. So
He's
yeah,
got pictures on somebody too. He's
Yeah.
got like video on somebody.
I'm kind of worried about that. And Apocalypse, what they've shown of Apocalypse, there's everyone on the internet is comparing him to a Power Rangers bad guy, Ivan Ooze.
Dude.
And if you look up Ivan Ooze, that's kind of what he looks like.
Well, here's the
he does
thing.
not look like Apocalypse.
No,
Oh, my
Apocalypse
goodness.
again. He's supposed to be like a Hulk,
Yeah, I
or
mean, he's
like a
not
Hulk
that big.
Buster. That he's supposed to be a big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
he
not
was
supposed to be an old man whose face is painted blue.
No, Apocalypse was the first mutant. He was born back in the Egyptian times. That's why we saw him there, and he can.
But he's not supposed to be big like the Hulk.
He not as big as the Hulk, but you know about. I mean, big, like 8 feet, 9 feet tall.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
But I mean, you know, he can control his body down to the molecular level, so he's pretty much immortal. You know, you could blow his body into smithereens with a nuke, but as long as the molecules exist, he'll put himself back together. He can transform his arms into whatever weapons he wants to be. He could be like Giant Man or Ant-Man. He could shrink down. He could grow
Wow.
tall.
That's a lot of power right
How are the X-Men going to deal with this? It's going to be great to see. So I hope they do him justice. I really do.
They're gonna put him in a test tube. I already figured the movie out.
Send him into the Phantom Zone.
Save your $12. Send him into the Phantom
there.
Zone.
The Phantom Zone.
That's why they wanted Bryan Singer.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna do it and then look at you and sit back with his hands up and going crossover. Bitches.
McAvoy shaving his head for this role, so this is where Professor X goes bald.
He's actually passing the torch, and going, full bald.
Now,
The full Monty.
I wonder if he'll do that actually on camera, or he would just show up bald.
oh, I don't know.
I think it'd be cool if he just actually did it on camera.
If he did, it'd be funny if they made it like it was just like a haircut accident and he goes, shave it.
That'd be great.
That'd be kind of cheap.
You'd be like,
It'd be
that
great.
was how that
What?
happened?
It'd be
Yeah.
great if it was Magneto playing a trick, just from like a mile away using some scissors and doing it. That'd be awesome.
Eric, I hate you. You shall never do this.
Quicksilver's back. They're using Quicksilver again.
That same one.
Yeah, same guy.
Okay.
Yep. He's back.
Another
I-
single scene.
I have not seen anything about Wolverine being in this movie at all.
That's not possible. As Bryan Singer's in it.
You know?
Well, not only that, I thought this was supposed to be his last hurrah.
Nah, he's got one more single film coming
Okay,
out.
okay.
Yeah, I was thinking he had just a solo, but
Yeah.
Hey, next week we're going to go over the Wolverines, right?
and we're already done with that.
That is a quick podcast, man.
Best thing about the Wolverine movies?
They're done.
Crickets.
Crickets.
All right. The second best casting choice I feel that they've done since Patrick Stewart, Olivia Munn as Psylocke. I'm stoked about this.
Me too, because
She is what's that word? Not ugly.
Not ugly.
She's not
easy
ugly.
on the
at all.
eyes.
Very easy.
She's awesome. She's fun. She's charismatic.
And
And
she's
I-
one of us, you know?
She should
She's
have
a
been.
nerd.
Yeah.
What was that movie she was in with Justin Timberlake? In Time.
Yeah.
She played the mom. I was like,
yeah,
she
yeah.
should have been in that movie a lot longer.
yeah, no kidding.
It's
She's-
funny. Did you ever see her, what is it, Attack of the Show, when it was on?
Yeah, she was the host of that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I knew back then, I was like, you're seeing
She's
somebody.
going somewhere, yeah.
And I feel bad. The other guy, you always wondered if they were like dating or something because they had this kind of thing. But I'm like, dude, you should have hooked your self to that wagon, man. That she's going somewhere.
Yeah. And she, I don't know if she actually does martial arts, but I've seen her training for this
She was
role.
good in Tron.
Yeah, yeah.
Very good in Tron.
And I've seen her on Instagram.
She's serious about the training that she's doing.
She
I mean,
is
she's all the
incredible.
time
Like
about
she's
it.
doing like some taekwondo kicks. Like she's got some speed. She looks awesome.
And that character, she's another one. When you talk about characters, just absolutely stunning.
And we've talked
Beautiful character.
We've talked about how they haven't really got the costumes right. They actually put her in the Psylocke costume, and it looks awesome.
You know what? I'm kind of hoping that is kind of evidence that maybe, with Apocalypse there, that you're going to get maybe that kind of flavor come out.
Well, it's the 80s too, so they can take a little more risk. Like Jubilee's going to be in it, so they can throw her in the long yellow coat, and it would fit in with the times.
Well, plus you've got Apocalypse, who kind of comes across alien, where there might be some forgiveness in like garb choices. Like, no,
Right.
I put you in that.
Yeah, because he's gonna turn Angel into Archangel. So
that's what I was thinking too. It's
I can't
his
wait
choice.
to see. Yeah, I can't wait. It's kind of cool because like all throughout time, he's always picked these 4 horsemen: pestilence, death, famine, and war. Yeah, and no matter what run of X-Men it is, it always seems like it could be anybody else with the other 3, but Archangel is always one of them.
Yeah, he's always one of them.
I need to do a correction. I was thinking Olivia Wilde, not Olivia Munn.
Ah, yes.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh,
my complete bad.
I don't know of Munn. I don't know of Munn being in anything except she had a cameo in like Iron Man 2 or something like that.
Yeah, well, in fact, I remember on Attack of the Show, I think they had Jon Favreau on, and he interviewed her, or was being interviewed by her, and they connected so well. And you can see that, he was geeking out. He goes,
Yeah.
oh, man, this is great.
Yeah.
I might have to get you to read for something, that kind of stuff. And everybody was like, is that for real, or is that just banter? And it was for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm serious. You could be on the movies. Let's do this.
Besides her, we're getting Nightcrawler back. We're getting young teenage Nightcrawler. We're getting Storm with the Mohawk. We're getting young Cyclops and Jean Grey are back. Angel's going to be back. Jubilee. Even though Jubilee doesn't have the greatest powers, I'm excited to see her.
It's funny because I wasn't into the cartoons, and I always looked at her as a throwaway character.
Yeah.
I'm not excited.
She kinda, she's like Dazzler. She can make fireworks out of her fingertips, la-di-da. But I don't know, I guess it's that nostalgia of seeing her in the shows.
I'm sure, yeah, because there's things that are special for me in that time, of life that everybody else, like, I could care less. I'll tell you what, here's a DC reference for you. You know one thing from my childhood? Batmite.
Yes.
You remember? All right. Nobody else would care less about that, but for me, I would love to see him in some way, shape, or form in another, like in a movie.
He's got a comic book now, don't you?
You know what? I remembered, but I didn't know if it was an ongoing thing.
Yeah, I bought one, and that was it.
That good, huh? So, yeah.
So, I'm excited for the 80s era, going to the mall, just seeing Nightcrawler and Jubilee walking around the mall.
That's kind of a neat thing, right?
That'd be cool, yeah.
All these characters. Still haven't confirmed if Gambit's going to be in it, but, we know he's getting the Solo movie, so I got hope that he's going to show up somewhere.
That will never come out.
I got hope.
We've been talking about this movie for 3 years now.
And I've also heard, speaking of that movie real quick, that Anna Paquin is not playing Rogue in that movie, so woohoo!
In what, the new Gambit?
The Gambit Solo movie.
Are you okay?
She shouldn't be.
No. And plus, I think in this movie we're finally going to see the birth of the official X-Men team at the Xavier Institute. They've kind of been coming together and working as a team in the past, but I think they're going to move into the mansion now, maybe build the Danger Room, maybe put Cerebro in the mansion.
Oh, no, if they had those kind of things, almost like a Batman Begins kind of moment, that would be just crazy cool, dude.
That would be awesome. A couple skepticisms. I'm not against No Wolverine, but, it's Bryan Singer, No Wolverine. It's like, what's up with that? Is he going to be in there? Is he not? The way Apocalypse looks, like we talked about, I hope they use him to his potential. Like we talked about, Mr. Sinister, is he going to be there? And I've also kind of heard that, maybe Magneto is going to be one of the 4 horsemen. So I hope they don't throw away Magneto's character, because he's the best character in these movies for me.
Magneto is hands down one of the linchpins. If you don't have him in there, you're missing a great opportunity.
Yep.
So I hope they don't just use him as a puppet.
You know what? It's never telling if you got Bryan Singer involved, though. And I don't have a whole lot of faith, in Simon Kinberg for the writer. So this is another one that is, as much as I've got this great momentum going in with First Class and Days of Future Past, and the storyline for Apocalypse is so strong already, the team does not inspire my confidence. I'm like, man, I'll go in with low expectations, and if they blow it out of the water, I'll be the first one to come back and say, I was wrong. It was great.
Yeah, well, seeing what Kinberg did to Last Stand, it's like either Singer's going to be like, I'm going to use him and I'm going to do a much better job, or it's going to be history all over again.
Oh man, fingers crossed. That comes out 2016, right? This
Yeah.
next summer.
16,
Yeah.
Mhm. There's about 20 movies coming out next year. It's going to be great.
Dude, I'll tell you what.
Fingers crossed.
I'm super excited about Apocalypse, though. This is the most excited I've been for an X-Men film in a long time.
Now here's the thing, and this is, I don't know why, but it always sticks in my brain as far as I grew up, X-Men was one of my staples. You know, Fantastic Four was one of my staples.
Cuatro Fantásticos.
Dude, they were things that I knew, I read intimately, and I was just like, this is a great line, a great character set, and great imaginative stories. But I did have a certain feeling that I was kind of in with. I got so little faith in these other studios doing this that I'm almost like, you know what? I'll watch these, and they're great and stuff.
But you're still
But
waiting
until
for the
Marvel
day. Yeah.
gets it and does their version of it,
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
not bad for a guy who is trying to make sense of stuff that they don't really
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just waiting for the day that Marvel
I'm waiting
gets the
for
rights, right?
which, dude,
They're getting Spidey back.
yeah, but I'll tell you what,
I
there's
just-
too much money going in.
Yeah.
The X-Men are making too much money.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like,
And that's kind of why they put out that Fantastic Four movie. It was in the contract rights that if they kept the rights to Fantastic Four, they had to put a movie out ever so often. So that's
Yeah.
kind of why they threw that one together.
same thing with the Roger Corman B movie back in the 80s. That's the only reason
Oh,
they
yeah,
did it. They
yeah.
had to do something with it, or the rights reverted back.
Yeah. It's a shame.
I could take and kick Roger Corman right in the head. I was like, man, what did you do?
That was-
Thanks for keeping it with Fox.
I would
So-
actually like to see that to see how bad it would be.
You haven't seen it
I
yet?
have not seen that.
It's pretty bad, dude.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Go to YouTube and put it in and just see if they've got like clips. Because if you see clips, you
I've
probably
seen-
save yourself
seen
an
some
hour
of
and
the
a
still
half.
images from it. And I was like, wow, it looks bad.
It's clobbering time. I'm like, oh, wow. Anyways, yeah, it never fails.
Well,
We're
that's
coming
better
back to
than
the
his
fan.
brother saying it's clobbering time. Then 30 years later, he remembers it.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
I'll be honest though, I hate to say this. I thought that was kind of a great idea where, you know, I remember when I heard it was clobbering time, I knew I was going to get my ass whooped. I knew it was. And then all of a sudden,
Yes. Oppressed memories.
and then he's like,
Yeah.
now it's my turn and you're going to understand what a beating is. I kind of dug that, man.
It's clobbering time. Excuse me if I cry while I hit you.
Yeah, dude, you know what the comic book version is that's what Ben Grimm's football coach used to always say, last thing to the team before they went out on the field.
That's so much cooler.
That is
Yeah.
cool though,
Yeah.
right? It's
I think that's
clobbering
much better.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
anyway,
inspirational, not depressing.
next summer, 2016, Apocalypse.
Cannot wait.
Let's see what the X-Men can do. Hopefully,
see if we get Singered again.
right. Hopefully, my low expectations will pay off.
Yeah.
I'll be there anyways.
Yeah.
Front and center, popcorn and drink with my main man Connor.
I'll be down in Hokey Town watching it on IMAX.
I might have to go to UVA to watch it on IMAX. Man.
You can't go to enemy territory.
I went there, and I will say I was impressed by their facilities. You got a bowling alley, an arcade, a theater, and a restaurant in one building.
Shout out to Frank Cinnabole in Christiansburg, Virginia.
Yeah,
Ah, there
that
we
was.
go.
I'm not. I mean, that was impressive.
Hey, you know what?
We have to upgrade to UVA.
Yeah, before we go, I want to give a couple shout outs. Check me out on the Facebook for the Edge Martial Arts and Tumbling. And we're just getting a new Instagram. Follow us at the Edge Martial Arts.
And check out that sexy website, theedgeforlife.com.
Fantastic. I want to say thanks to Josh for making that thing incredible. The website really good.
No problem. It's my
I'm just
pleasure.
gonna say, Studio A is right here in the Edge.
Studio A
Studio
is
A.
at the Edge.
We'll find B somewhere, but right now A is impressive.
Woohoo!
What you call this, Studio D?
Yeah, we can't get quite that good yet.
Yeah, we're not to D.
We're
We're not
going to
voted.
upgrade till we get to D.
Let me ask you.
When we have a bowling alley and IMAX in here,
Will your A+ ratings get a D?
one day.
But with hashtags?
With hashtag, yeah.
Quote the D.
Quote,
The
this
D.
is so good, it's the D.
I love it.
Anything else on these two movies, guys?
No, man.
Nah, I was pleasantly surprised with First Class. Loved it. Days of Future Past a little bit less, but I
Yeah.
still liked it
But
better
still
than the
good?
original
Yeah,
trilogy.
I think we all
Yeah.
kind of agree on that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Super excited for Apocalypse. They're either going to make me love it or nerd rage on it.
Yeah. You nerd rage? Never.
I'll flip this table.
Which it will be me when Suicide Squad comes
We didn't hear
out.
anything.
Anyway.
from the guy from the Hulk, and the X-Men comes out and he goes, "I got something to say."
Dude, if we do Spider-Man, I'm the same. But
Oh, me too. That was another one of my.
I don't know
staples, man.
Hulk.
Yeah.
All
But,
right, cool.
yeah.
Hey, so what's next week?
We haven't come up with a topic for next week yet.
Fantastic.
That's a good one.
All right.
Fantastic Four.
No, we're not talking about them anymore.
Don't worry, we talk about them every week.
That's our thing, though.
That is
Yeah.
our thing. All right.
All right. Thanks for having me, man.
Well, I almost did the welcome back again. Look at me.
Welcome back yourself.
Welcome back myself. Next time, same incredible time, same,
Same
incredible
incredible
channel.
Welcome back,
Look, I
Chad.
didn't think Josh was going to jump in on.
I got
He's
the reverb in the
embarrassed by my
background.
line.
He loves your line.
Excellent. And Auf Wiedersehen.
See ya.
Thanks, guys. Later.